Hello and welcome back to the OPL. We are currently 1-1 in day number 1 of the Gauntlet.
Mimic's not looking
hit back.
impressed.
Who's not looking impressed?
Mimic got his head on his keyboard there, was our head down.
I mean, to be fair, and I say this a lot, all of a sudden you go from playing a game at 2 or 5 to kicking off at 5.
Yeah.
And Mimic's sitting there thinking, I've got to play another 3 hours of this.
Where's dinner?
Yeah, where's dinner? Also, like, normally I'd be back home in solo queue, like busting out a Camille game or something by now. I've probably got another 3 on games
he's
left
just
in
playing
me.
5 straight of on. I feel like, because I was saying, that game, like AV, if they get that 2-0, I feel like 3-0, like Legacy looked all out of sorts, like, absolutely. Now that we've seen, like, this 1-1, this is going all the distance. Like, if we see the same draft once again, of course, AV are actually on red side.
Yep.
Legacy, once again, have opted in for blue side.
Same draft. Why change it? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Number 3, Casio. Where is it? There it is. Same draft again. Rise, lock it in. Jake, we're so smart. Oh, actually, no.
I was going to say,
Oh,
I feel like Braum
okay.
rises in popularity, and I feel like Pabu takes away Cho'Gath or On in the first 3.
I was preparing to say, man, Jake, we're just so smart predicting the draft. We know exactly what's going on.
And now, do AV have the courage? Let's go with courage.
Courage,
I was searching for a word. To pick Rise here for Frey.
Balls is another word.
Or does Claire have the counter pick?
Sejuani, potentially just going to be the jungle. We've seen only play double Olaf games, so everything different now.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
They've thrown all out. Maybe this was their blue side comp, but Charlie Wraith just figured we're never playing blue side, so let's lock it in on
It's
red.
not coming through, guys. We've run out of red side, you know?
Because I actually think Sedge is like an underrated first pick at the moment. Really shows you nothing about the comp. She farms quickly.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's going to be a Zyra Rakan
Yes.
into a Braum lane.
And they've opted in for that matchup, because Legacy kind of throwing the gauntlet like, hey, Ornn is really good this series, but we just first picked Braum, so AV are disincentivized. But all of a sudden, there's been no priority on Zyra Rakan. Hasn't been picked or banned.
I feel like this is just on Rise. Like, just lock it in.
Yeah.
Why are we even still talking? Blinky's shaking it off as well.
Don't worry, guys. Zyra Rakan, we've done it. We've won.
Yeah, and so this is going to be a Rise, because Sybil's like, do you want me to pick Rise? And Claire's like, I am capable of picking my own champion.
So just going to be just going to be
Potentially, you
Ornn
can
once
take
again.
something like a Talia and just have really good map pressure.
Potentially, you take Zac.
Really?
I mean, and you just take a jungle. Before, I feel like Sybil, like double Rek'Sai games, has looked pretty rough. Game 2, probably worse than Game 1.
See, if you were going to say which mid laner in this series is better, I would say Claire. If you were going to say 6 mid lane bans, who do you back? I pick Frey. Because he'll probably play Lucian or Zed or something great. LeBlanc. He has all the picks.
Because Claire is that kind of mid laner that's very good at one thing at a time. Like, he's real good at Ryze and he'll play it a bunch. Or he's real good at Azir and he'll play it a bunch. Whereas Frey kind of dabbles in more. So Claire, at any point in time, has like a couple of really good champions and there's a steady drop-off. Whereas Frey kind of has just a more well-rounded pool overall.
He's just got an ocean. He plays everything. He's one of those players. He played 80 carry professionally, and then halfway through the split, him and Bomb were just like, we can do each other's roles better. So then they just went back to mid. I think that in the end, Frey played both roles significantly better than Bomb. However, Skarner will be banned away.
Yeah, okay. So do we see Zac hit the bench as well? Or is it going to be another Rek'Sai game?
I mean, the Cho'Gath ban just makes so much sense to me because Pabu played that tank like a carry. And I wonder now with Zyra Rakan locked in, whether Pabu actually gets to play something like a Camille.
Yeah.
Because it's something that we haven't seen in a long time, I feel.
Because they have the engage from elsewhere now. They've got not only Olaf, they have like hard CC out of the jungle. They have hard CC, very reliable engage out of the Rakan, and it will be the Zac band away.
Does he take the Nidalee? This used to be the best matchup for Nidalee. Sybil not a big Nidalee player. Does he take an Elise? It was a crappy matchup for Elise if you didn't kill like 5 people before level 6.
I feel like we probably won't see the blind pick Nidalee.
What else are we going to see? I don't know what else he's actually going to be able to play.
Sybil.
Yeah. Olaf?
Yeah. Potentially. Olaf pretty good into Zyra Rakan. Essentially, we've seen the Ragnarok kind of just been so successful. Blinky gonna do the classic Kalista hover.
He's a real good Kalista player. I'll pay it.
Yes, we haven't seen too much of it this season.
No, not at all, because it was banned against him all the time, and now it sucks, so I don't blame him. I hate when Riot guts my favorite champion, by the way.
What's your favorite champion?
Well, it was
right
Lee
now?
Sin.
Oh,
and
okay.
then, like, literally was unplayable. And they do lock in the
Okay,
Rise.
here we go.
Claire, what have you got for us?
What is the answer? We saw Anivia banned game 1.
Because they must have an answer.
They do. 100% they let this one slide through. They wanted to put Raid onto the Ezreal instead of picking away the mid laner. So So what do Legacy have in store? Game number 3, we're finally getting the variants in the draft phase come through. Game 1 and 2, very similar compositions. Now, AV just have so much CC, and Rise kind of adds to that. Kind of leaves Pabu open to play what he wants on the top side, but Raid will just be locking in the Swain there.
Yeah, and that's super interesting for me because Swain doesn't have the best matchup into Rise from what I've seen. However, is just a super strong pick if you have any form of CC in your comp. And there is CCs abound.
Galore for Legacy right now. Civil still yet to pick his jungle, though.
Lucio is really giving him some commands.
Oh, that would be a bad jungler.
Misclick. It was going to be the E. No, it's going to be Rek'Sai.
Okay.
I don't get this pick.
Game number 3. I think in this situation, it's like better than the last two, because Skarner was up in the last games, but suddenly with Sejuani picked up, and Skarner and Zac banned away, but the Olaf is still there. Olaf is like the premier tank jungle on this patch.
Yeah, 100%.
Domestically, internationally, we've seen only play 2 games of it already. Potentially, Sybil just not confident in Olaf at all. I feel like that has to be the case right now. I feel like the Rek'Sai hasn't shown us enough to be above it on the tier list, and that's a Fiora.
That is the Gauntlet throne. We are going to have our first genuine 1-3-1 comp versus 1-4 with Ornn and Swain. They start fights so damn easily, to be honest. Against a 1-3-1 comp with the Zyra and Rakan, I'm very interested to see how Avant Gaming stand up in this comp.
And this is super weird, because tracking how the games have gone, both these teams want to take it late game. And then you see Legacy, they have all the engage tools in the world, and AV are like, look, okay, cool. We got a Zyra Rakan, but Rise is going to scale in a side lane. We have a super tank jungle, and Fiora is just going to be split pushing in the side lane on the other side of the map. So AV kind of buying into what we've seen from this series so far.
What I do know is if Pabu falls down 2 items this game, he will be worse than useless.
He is, absolutely. Will be non-existent almost, you have to think.
100%. As we are about to get onto Summoner's Rift for game number 3. We just saw Pinch, Charlie Wraith exit stage left. And that is 2 tickets to the gun show. He's
got a new haircut.
He is a
He's got the arms out.
He's got the mo going on.
Yeah. He had to keep that one after he lost.
I've got a little bit of a man crush on Jake. I'm not going to lie. I think he's a good-looking chap.
Absolutely. He's got a real nice pair of blue jeans.
Does he?
Yeah. They're real good. That's a really
That is a weird thing to like about him.
But I'm a fan. They're a good pair of jeans. So taking a look at Claire, he's probably also got a pair of good jeans, I reckon. He's back in the cupboard.
He's a well-dressed person off outside of game day.
Unfortunately, on game day, you got to wear the jerseys, boys. They don't get the fashion show.
I like the Legacy jersey.
Yeah. It's very white.
However, we are on to Summoner's Rift for game number 3. Legacy taking on Avant Gaming. And it's going to be Project Fiora, a skin we have not seen in quite some time, I feel. Normally, it's that new one.
What's the new one?
The
Mistress
Yi
Fiora?
and Janna got it at the same time. Like the Warring Kingdoms.
Oh,
okay.
It is. Okay. I'm not up to date in my Fiora skins, unfortunately.
Aren't you?
No? I thought you were talking about like Headmistress or like the teacher Fiora. No,
not the
with
ruler
with the ruler. That does less damage.
Oh, that would have been great. If you had Headmistress Fiora and Professor Rise. That is Skinergy.
And then you got 2 students in the bottom lane, little couple, you know?
Yeah.
Zyra
High school
Rakan.
sweetheart.
Yeah. AV, what a missed opportunity. What's Sejuani? Bristle is like... It's like a rural school, and that's like in the farmland out the window. Only's just walking around like eating Poro snacks, you know?
I like Bristle, by the way. This is Jenna's favourite skin in the whole game. Poro Rider Sejuani.
We do see kind of the evolution of...
skins?
No, Zyra Rakan.
Okay.
We're going back to the game. We're going to real things. Obviously, Coin picked up because into the Braum, Zyra Rakan loses a little bit of pressure. So Jake doesn't go for the AP of the Spell Thieves. Can't proc it reliably without taking a Winter's Bite to the face. So just wants to pick up some golden mana. Coins along the way.
Yeah, and only doing the right thing there. Actually just holding the Winter's Bite to the very end. However, has gone for the interesting build again. I always get intrigued by this. Goes Talisman, which means that you can't do your big camp clear, and it also means you get beaten to Scuttle Crabs. And if Sejuani has one thing pre-6 that she does incredibly well, it is kill Scuttle Crabs.
Basically one-shots them. A couple of autos.
Grasp.
Really? Coming out. Yeah, we're not getting the Klepto. Of course, 8.5. No Bandit on any of the support items. So we kind of saw the extremes come out from top laners.
How does that make you feel?
Very bad. Solo laners have ruined my role time and time again. We get Zyra, they take it mid, then Zyra gets nerfed. We get Lulu, they take it mid, then Lulu gets nerfed. And then
did not enjoy playing Lulu.
They haven't taken now they've taken my items and my champions.
You cannot claim that you are mad that they got Lulu nerfed.
Entered versus Rogue level 1 in our Gauntlet series, but I was very comfortable in the matchup. I wanted to play it. That's why we picked it. And then obviously we banned it from then on out because I lost.
I know you wanted to play it, but did you want to play it? As actually we're going to have a gank in the top lane. Mimic flashes already. We'll
get rid of that right now. Will be the response potentially out of Sybil. Ping onto Frey in the mid lane. Pretty low mana. They do have CC. Flash on Burrow into the rip from Claire.
Is there, rips him back, and Frey has to flash as well, but they flash forward, and First Blood is picked up for Legacy.
Ganked off for AV, does not get them a kill, just the flash, and Legacy respond in kind. Frey goes down, luckily for him, doesn't burn the heal, so we'll be able to TP back and claim most of this wave under the turret, but advantage very early in the game going over to Legacy.
Yeah, certainly is, and I mean, that's just a bread and butter gank. If you've played, actually they're going to go for it again, and you can see only trying to scuttle away. Actually flashes and then kind of looks back for a second. Maybe didn't need to do that, but still will get away scot-free.
Bit of a stare, you know, give him the stinky eye before he gets away over the wall. So he does flash away from the slow. Obviously, Eye of Sauron, or Eye of whatever it's called. We just call it Eye of Sauron, comes out, applies the slow. Pretty delayed ability, but only respects the fact that he potentially could have been gap closed on.
And you can see right now, Sybil is just really threatening Frey. He knows that he doesn't have the summoner spells available. Neither the Claire or Sybil, but Wave is in a great position to continually zone out.
But nice ward from Frey. He have the vision on the top side of the map, respects the fact that that extra gank can come through from Rek'Sai. It's one of those unique gank paths that not a lot of junglers can execute on. Things like the Zac. Jake's actually going to tank up a turret shot there to get a bit of an engage onto Decoy.
Yeah, was just looking for the knock up there. If it had have land, certainly would have been worthwhile. Didn't, so it wasn't. But I like the idea. They need to have pressure somewhere in the map.
And it's interesting, of course, Mimic on the top side of the map into the Fiora. Has gone for the Grasp as well, so matched. And this game probably going to have to be using all his dematerializers to have any presence in the lane against the Fiora.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what you want to do is push into Fiora, so when she dashes into proc your vitals, you're taking a lot more damage. They're taking a lot more damage than what you are.
Not to mention, Fiora's not going to be building a Banner of Command. Neither is Rakan, really, potentially. Probably going to go for the Zeeks.
Yep.
Potentially want to look for something like the Ardent Sensor off the back of that. Can go for the Banner, but not seen as often as things like Braum, Time, Kench, and top laners and like that.
As we see, actually, Collapse coming out
cancelled
into Sybil and will just be cancelled and blown up. Frey gets a kill back. Never Move will rip Frey back towards Claire.
Very nicely played from Only. The cancel came out almost immediately when the Burrow was cast. So Sybil does fall down. Had that early kill, but first death of the game will be handed to him by AV's jungler.
Yeah, and you have to think that that nearly single-handedly gets Frey back into this game. The fact that he just walked in there and cleaned up on the kill of Frey's hard work, of Only's hard work. Very nicely done.
And I feel like AV coming into game number 3 now. Scores are 1-1. It's the Infernal Dragon that we've seen.
Oh, that's very nice from Jake. That's some fancy footwork. Will actually get stunned up and take some big return damage, but you can see confident in the matchup. Little bit of a do-si-do.
That's a drink, by the way.
Is it?
You're following the Twitter sphere there. Hashtag IMOPL. Did you see that one?
Oh, when I say a little bit.
Yeah. No, when you say do-si-do.
Oh, is it do-si-do?
It's do-si-do.
What the heck? Do I say do-si-do all that much?
Apparently, according to people on Twitter.
I say what the heck a lot.
Yeah, okay.
I do, because of Shroud.
Jake. Going to take the passive. Actually, Decoy knows. Very nice. That's blind. Of course, he just kind of predicts what Jake is doing. He knows that there's probably a Xayah in the bush, so Decoy, very nice read on the play there, gets the cancel. Of course, once again in this matchup, Jake, actually not once again, it's the first time that he has been the one on this matchup that's taken the Guardian. Of course, Decoy last game was getting picked off time and time again because he had that green tree and couldn't get the cleanse, but this time has the Ignite early, has the extra potions for the Xayah Rakan lane.
Return gank into the mid lane is going to be on the cards right now. You see the control ward is down on that side of the brush, but Frey should just play towards bottom side, you would think.
His flash is up very soon, but if this gank happens in the next, 10 seconds?
Yeah.
This may be a chance that he will go down.
Look at that.
Walks the long way to blue buff. Doesn't go greedy.
You love to see it, Bryce.
Yes, you do.
That is exactly what you want to see out of your team in a best of 5. Play the high percentage. Probably not walk back that way, but that's all right.
Now he knows it's safe, man. He's got a blue buff to deal with him. His flash is up. Now he has the tools available. He's had a lot of blue buffs tonight. I feel like Sybil, early in this game, because of that kill going down, he was kind of set up to have a similar early path to, on the Rek'Sai, have that advantage and then start pushing around the Sejuani, but of course goes down. And they won't be denying Frey anything.
Look how carefully Frey is playing. As we see another invade coming in on this bottom side, will be spotted out by the Tremor Sense.
You have to think this is because of the Infernal Drake spawn, because they could happily play topside. Fiora will win against the Ornn, naturally, eventually. Early game, when she doesn't have the sustain, he's just going to deal with that with Dematerializer, push her in for the most part, but eventually Pabu will come out on top because of the Infernal, because of the pressure from Xayah Rakan, and that kill in the mid lane for Frey. AV have switched up their game plan, happy to play bot side, because if they do get a skirmish, if they do get a kill, there will be that prize on the table.
Yeah, and I really think that this is one of those times that Avant are just happy to scale up for 1.5, 2 items, because they do have such a superior 1-3-1. If ever it gets to the point where Fiora can no longer deal with Mimic because of, you know, Bramble Vest or whatever, then you just send Ryze into the lane and there's absolutely nothing that he's going to be able to do, as Mimic actually going to be slowed up here, however, has a flash back available, gets an ulti pegged at him and will have to use it. Nicely done by Only.
Yeah, gets himself to safety, but that is the flash burnt from Mimic. Going to get himself a little bit of fruit. Of course, can't be slowed. Sejuani's OP. The best fruit taker or melon taker in the game.
Would get an Australian... No, let's not go there. However, Frey now in a little bit more trouble again.
He's on a ward though, Sybil.
Sybil, yeah. Underground, on a ward.
Oh yeah, how does that work? It's,
what do you mean? You still see it.
He's underground. You see the burrow, you know, like over the top of the... It's like a worm, you know?
Yeah.
Like tunneling across, disturbing
like the tremor on the top of the surface.
Tremor sense, there you go. That's it. Does this blue buff get given over to Claire? Sybil has started it up. You have to assume so.
I would hate to think that at 9 minutes into the game, a Rek'Sai took my blue buff.
That would,
I would be upset. And I don't get upset, as most mid laners, when my blue buff get taken, because I build tier every game at the moment.
Okay.
But still, if a Rek'Sai took it, I would be genuinely upset.
Probably one of the worst choices there to take that one on the Rek'Sai.
I'm surprised they didn't go for the Infernal on the blue take, because they knew the timing roughly.
And we've seen Legacy do that 2 games in a row. Game 1 and 2, they denied the blue buff from AV. And then when they knew the answer on the other side of the map was going to be there, they pulled the trigger on a bot dive. This time, AV get their blue buff, but it's a similar situation. They know Legacy are going to go topside. They know they're going to give away that blue buff to Claire, but no action on the bottom-hand side of the map. Level 6s have been popped in the bottom lane. Braum does a lot to stave it off, but there is just so much outplay potential for the Xayah Rakan. If they get the engage, if they can charm up Decoy before he throws up that wall and the rip can land from Blinky, there is still kill pressure.
And I feel like you'd be able to speak towards this probably better than me, but I think that's what makes Xayah Rakan so attractive as a duo. Because if you are better, you can win. Doesn't matter about the matchup. You feel like you just have way more in your kit than other people.
2018 is the year that agency started getting used in League of Legends, and I feel like Xayah Rakan is a lane, even in a quote-unquote counter matchup or bad lanes.
Oh, Sybil's going to face check one more time, and he's going to get stunned up immediately. And they rip back Only. Big ultimate will be there out of Claire, but that is huge out of Jake, and will dance back, and now they're looking to just evacuate. Only will continue to run a very strange path away, get slowed up, going to get ripped back, and will get exploded on. 1-for-1 trade there.
And the important thing for Claire is that he does not have to burn the flash to get that kill onto Only. Of course, was the flashless Sejuani, but as you mentioned, very nice rotate from AV's bottom lane. Jake gets there incredibly early, burns the flash, triple knock up on his ultimate there.
Claire actually just misses all of his abilities there. So the ward will be cleared out by Frey. But it is going to be Abyssal Mask Swain picked up. So this is going to be the tanky version of Swain.
Because we've seen a few, depending on matchup, go Rod of Ages or Abyssal Mask. We've yet to see the full stack armor.
The Quas.
Yeah. Go the Frozen Heart, rather, after the Abyssal Mask and Tabbies, and just go full tank CDR build.
Yeah, so there's a top laner in North America, pretty famous. Actually, that's going to be a stun onto Mimic. Is the ultimate going to be there? I feel like Pabu potentially could have looked to take him down there, but will just take the recall. And what I was going to say is pretty famous for going strange builds on champions, and has got a Ninja Tabby's Frozen Heart into Abyssal Mask build that is unkillable.
It's not even just strange builds on champions, it's strange champions. Because he's like the Alawi guy when Alawi isn't meta.
When Alawi
Swain guy before the rework when Swain wasn't meta. Things like that. So AV, eventually, their bot side control does pay off.
Pabu goes back, gets himself a shop, but not the best shop, and teleports back to lane. I feel like as long as Mimic is willing to teleport back, Pabu's going to match that. Look to isolate the lane.
That's the thing. Oh, actually.
That's very nicely done from Pabu. You can see that he's been putting in some work on the champion. The buffer W guarantees the stun there. I like to see champions played at a high level, and Fiora is another one of those champions.
High skill cap.
Infinite skill cap.
And he's not burning the ulti early. He's just kind of slowly whittling down Mimic. Potentially wants to shove him under the turret. Maybe draw Sybil over, hold the ulti for any sort of outplay. And if Sybil does not come eventually, Mimic will be low enough. Once he starts picking up these items, he's working his way to the Ravenous. Got himself the teammate, has the lifesteal to deal with a Bramble Vest. But as time goes on, you have to think the Fiora will be more and more successful against the Ornn.
And you can see that Claire's gone back. He's got himself a shop up right now over Frey. However, they are looking... Oh, Claire's going to face check. Oh, all right. He's not going to face check anyone.
Hard reset coming out of Frey was basing behind his turret.
Had teleport. Feel like potentially... there's no wards. They have one control ward, but potentially don't want to use it for that. Also, the fact that the bottom lane just was not there. Also, another good reason to not fight.
So they don't pull the trigger on that one?
I like when, an aside, I feel like this game shows what a best of 5 does. Because I feel like if that's a regular season game, or if this is 0-0, only dashes on him, they roll the dice.
Sedge ulti comes flying through.
Exactly right. In a best of 5, they're like, ooh, this one's closer than we would have thought.
This isn't a 100% play.
Yeah, this is not an 80-20 that we're looking for, so they just don't go for it. And sometimes teams play too conservatively. And I think that's where picks like Fiora and Trundle come in, when you're playing really conservatively and then you just get punished by the ultimate split pusher. Is now, meanwhile, top lane, we're going to see Rek'Sai get dashed on, get slowed up. Habu will not go over the wall.
And we see Blinky and Jake consistently doing something this lane. They've recognized that Abyssal Mask onto Claire, they don't really want to rotate mid. So they're kind of just playing around the vision bot side. They sit in the lane bush and Raid has to expend the ulti to check if they're in there. These bush camps from Zyra Khan are so potent, and they push the lane and they go sit in the enemy tri-bush and see if they face check. They're time and time again, they haven't found an engage they're looking for, but they just constantly have the priority in the matchup and are constantly fishing for opportunities.
They're just flirting with the idea that if you guys make one of those mistakes, we will be able to punish it. And you can see that Claire, meanwhile, was getting a little bit of a taste of his own medicine in the mid lane matchup. Ryze just gets priority at this stage of the game, so has the ability to clear out a control ward. And you see, right, once again, able to pick up a thing. But now, right now, the collapse is coming out, and Frey will have to just flash the wall. Nicely done. Ultimate actually used by Only, and they're going to go in for this one. They will get onto Sybil very quickly, and Sybil will go down so low, will use the ultimate, will come back out. And however, on the back end, Claire is just so damn tanky. And you can see without an Ignite is not dying either. Explodes and picks up another kill. Drags Jake back, and Jake needs to dash out, so it's going to be a 2-for-1 trade.
5 soul shards on the ulti out of Claire there. We saw Pabu last week, wasn't able to stack those up. And the ulti was not doing damage, but Claire in the front line immediately pops Blinky to about 10% HP, gets taken down.
And now he wants Jake. You can see he just jockeys forward aggressively. Only went for a wolf camp take, and that will mean that all of this HP on the turret is no longer going to be there. Will defend it successfully, but damage done. Teleport actually coming out of Frey to stall this one.
Wants to get himself back to the wave, and it was a pretty nice answer from Jake and the rest of AV lineup to get up there. They try and save Frey. They look for the counter engage, but Claire with a bit of an outplay onto the AV lineup right now. Swain into Rise. First game this series, he hasn't been on the Rise. 3-0-1 at only 15 minutes in. Sitting very pretty.
Is looking the goods. And I feel like this is one of those picks that... And I don't know if I'm buying too much into this as we take another look.
We just see the nice engage Only, flings the ulti, unfortunately misses, and Sybil falls incredibly low off the engage of Jakey. Doesn't burn the W onto Claire, who does use the cleanse to get out of it, but for so long you see he's got 5 stacks, doesn't need to use it to pop Frey there, but Blinky kind of stepping up and he realizes that Claire's about to do a bunch of damage. Does have the flash available, but did not flash out in time, so he goes down.
And the buff on this patch was you can no longer body block it. Things like Braum Door will still block the damage. However, if you try and body block it, everyone within the cone takes damage. Right now, Pabu looking to come down. They're just going to flash forward, are they? They go in, get the slowdown. Root is there. However, teleport is going to be available. And now Pabu on the back end is just going to get CC'd up. Ram will come out, will use a riposte, but Claire picks up another kill. And this is starting to look very scary for the members of Avant Gaming.
Never moved, barely just scratches the backside of Frey. If he did hit, that would have been both members of AV stuck into the river right there. But Legacy, once again, they've already done the work on this turret, so they will be able to pick this one up.
Yeah, certainly will be. And they're going to go out to about a 4,000 gold lead right now. Actually, not that much. It's about 2.5. I can't do math at this time of night, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, nice pick.
Very nice root
coming
coming out there.
But that was a pretty brave dive out of AV. Onto his Swain, Abyssal Mask, Merc Treads, working on his Leandries. He's very tanky. They had 3 members collapsing, but one of them's a Fiora. They have the Rise, the Rakan. If they can lock up Claire.
Like Blinky trying to hit Mimic.
Maybe, but that was a brave play. And in the end, it does cost them their mid lane adder.
That is Tabby's Frozen Heart Bramble Vest. And Blinky was like, ah, yeah.
Feathers.
Gotcha. And Mimic's like, please stop.
Get out. Get out of here.
You're embarrassing yourself.
What are your stupid feathers against my armor? Absolutely nothing.
I have a Frozen Heart. I do not care. Get it?
Yeah, I like it. It's cold. It's cold. Mimic's just going to clear out the wave. Pabu got a match on the top side of the map as well. As you mentioned, gold lead about 2,000 in favor of Legacy, but it's going to be the Earth Drake spawning for AV. They might just have this one before Legacy can get here.
However, Legacy do manage to check it with the eye. Will fall down. Do they look for the fight afterwards? Call of the Forge God will come out. Flash already burnt. They peg an ultimate at Sybil. Primary engage gone. I need to stop saying peg. Through.
They do lose the dragon there. They can't find the engage, the choke point. We talk about splitting in team fights and how it's more often than not a bad thing for a team. But in that situation, when the Ornn ulti is coming down the choke point, AV kind of scatter in all directions, so it only lands on maximum 2.
Not only that, against the Swain, I think, not standing on top of each other, pretty swell idea at this stage of the game. He's 4-0-1, has himself 2 completed items. AV
doing their best to stay as far away from Claire at this point of the game so far, but we are 19 minutes in. This early game has gone a lot quicker, I feel like, than the other 2.
Yeah, it certainly has. I think it started quicker. I mean, we saw gank top lane as well as double flash commit mid lane.
Oh, Frey. We're both just like, oh no, don't do it.
We're actually going to see Jake dash away as well. Yeah. No quickness used, however.
Barely gets out of the CC's there.
Who do you think has a scaling advantage here? Or is it just 2 comps that do completely different things?
They do 2 completely different things. In a front-to-back team fight, you have to back Legacy. They have the CC. They have the damage from Ray. They have damage from Claire. But when you look at the split push coming out, Fiora, like, she doesn't want a team fight. You're going to get to 6 items. She's just going to be whacking away at inhibs, playing the Trundle.
In saying that, I'm looking at Swain and, like, all the short range, and I'm thinking, if Blinky... I feel like, I mean, maybe unfair comparison to make, and this is why potentially the Chiefs are a little bit further along in the Gauntlet. But I feel like if this is Raze, we're looking at the game a little bit differently, and we're thinking everyone rushing Raze, he's probably going to be able to survive. You know, once he's got himself that Mortal Reminder, probably going to deny some healing coming out of Claire as well, and should be able to do a lot of damage in these team fights. If there's a game that Blinky will carry, I think it is this one.
Another point is that if this composition is Chiefs, then that's probably a Scion in the top lane, or it's probably a Maokai, or it's probably a Cho'Gath.
I reckon Big Swips has been at home all week.
Grinding.
Just grinding out. Because he can play some characters.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just memeing. I'm just, you know, a bit of flame.
He's an Alawi.
Going here and there.
He's an Alawi player.
Yeah. But Legacy looking to...
He's a Kled player.
Set up around the Baron. That's double pinks invested into the topside river. Yeah, he's played Kled this year. He's played Camille.
Yep.
Had some bad games, had some good games as well. But, of course, Swiper is not in this game. It is Mimic versus Pabu in the top lane. And you have to think approaching 2 items for the Fiora. This is kind of the point where once she gets the Cleaver, she has the lifesteal and the Mercs.
Yep.
She will start taking over the side lane. Of course, has priority right now, but not enough to really be hitting turrets and diving Mimic just yet.
Exploration Herald used here. Will get 1 charge on that mid lane turret. However, will not be able to take it down. Still a better use than most. As we actually see Face Check coming out again, and big damage coming onto Decoy. Dawn, however, is up for so long, and now Frey actually in some trouble. Ray took half of his health. Holy moly. Claire now just going to march forward, gets everyone. The rip is there, however, now gets stunned up. Will get rooted, and Frey just face checks him and gets a huge shield, but still going to fall down. You can see the damage out of Swain right now. Flash in is just monstrous, Bryce, and that is going to be 2 members falling down.
And Pabu was the first person to play Swain in the OPL, but Claire putting on a clinic right there. Double roots onto multiple members of AV. Only is alive. He doesn't have flash, but he is nowhere around Baron. I feel like no. Claire will just be able to tank this one up for his team. Both the front line falling incredibly low here.
And this has been the most decisive game so far. This has been Legacy from start to finish. You know, first blood, priority around a lot of the map being able to get themselves advantages. It is down to 800 health, and Will Fall only was very close to being able to get there.
That was a slow Baron. No Bork on Ezreal yet. He doesn't really do damage. The front line are cancelling autos here and there because they have to back away. They don't want to fall down. And Swain, of course, has the Leandries, but doesn't do the percentage health damage anymore.
And this has been a couple of times that, honestly, Avant have just held summoner spells for too long when they should just be getting out of dodge. Their win condition right now was sitting in the bottom lane, whacking away at an Ornn, trying to grab himself some form of advantage. However, Frey went back in, tried to defend his team and died.
Because that's the thing. When you think of unsuccessful split push, it's the 4 on the other side of the map getting caught, or the 3 in the case of a 1-3-1. Pabu has the priority bot side. We mentioned he's working on, not his cleaver actually, going for a Triforce.
He's teleporting back down bottom lane. He could get collapsed on and just killed right now. Yeah, good. That is not a smart teleport.
Yep, I'm absolutely in agreement right there. So he channels it, cancels it immediately, goes topside because he realizes Mimic's up there, but...
I think that's a bit of a tilt TP.
That's going to be a wasted TP. You talk about... I was talking about unsuccessful split push. You need the priority in the sideline, and your 4 on the other side needs to play respectively. And the hardest part of that is when the tank has TP priority. And that's what happened right now. Pabu, kind of a split-second decision, is going to cost him 3.5 minutes worth of that cooldown.
I mean, and I feel that's like, I've been forced to back because my team died and they've got Baron recalls. I want to get on the map as quickly as possible. And then, yeah, now they've got a Banner of Command and they've got themselves Baron buff, and there is no one anywhere near the turret that right now Avant Gaming are trying to threaten. So this is going to be a 2-for-1 special.
I feel like they were just trying to half commit to the other side of the map. They're potentially looking to trade, but against a Baron and a Rift Herald, Legacy 100% going to lose right now. Frey doesn't have TP, so he's at least 8 seconds away. This is potentially, if Mimic TPs, that's a 5v3 under the base.
This is going to be the game. Like, if they do not get back right now, that Banner of Command minion is just so safe. They rip back Jake. They blow up Jake. He nearly falls down. Only on the front line is able to get Decoy. However, gets ripped back in as well, as does Blinky. And they just have not played against this Swain. It is a 1-for-1 trade right now. But you can see Avant Gaming is all out of sorts.
And it might have been too little too late. The turret is already incredibly low, and that's the big advantage that AV have in their base. Legacy with the Baron, with the banner, continuing to take that one down.
Quickness goes in, able to get onto all of the members. 1 kill already. Claire is in. The Zhonya's Hourglass will get taken down. Shutdown is there. Sybil also should join him in the Death Chamber. Ooh. And that is an overcommit from Legacy, and Avant make them pay.
And a very nice punish out of AV. Mimic might just be caught here. He does have the flash. No ulti from Sedge. And Frey didn't quite get in his own realm up there, so Mimic will just be able to walk out. But they defend their base. They defend the Baron, and they're going to get a second Infernal Drake for their trouble. So 3 dragons, possibly one of the best combinations. Only second to triple Infernal, I'd say.
Yeah, 100%. And if there is ever a time you can say we scaling, it's when you just picked up 3 shutdowns in a game. So now we're back to 4,000. Like, how the heck did this happen?
Claire was 6-0. And then they overcommit for that in him. So that's a big shutdown going on to him. He has those 3 items. Would have had a fully stacked Dark Seal as well, but loses the stacks on that one.
And that was actually a 4-for-1 because Blinky traded his life at the start.
And that's the thing, yeah. He goes in, has to blow the Featherstorm, and goes down almost immediately. Decoy dies at the same time, so they do trade 1-for-1. But Mimic isn't even here. They do have numbers advantage on the map right now because Jake goes back to base, but they buy enough time. They kind of overcommit. Puby's looking for the flank, and it's very obvious what AV want to do. Flash, ulti W comes out of Jake once again. Second time this game. Triple man engage. Buys them just enough time for Frey to deal damage, for Pabu to get into the backside. And as soon as Pabu procs that ulti, healing for the entire team. Legacy have overcommitted, and they all go down. Yeah,
we talk about Janna's ability to reset a fight. Well, Fiora's ability to stay in a fight is actually quite big, just because she's got the big healing pad, especially as getting towards level 16. So we check in with the items. It's going to be Sejuani going towards a Warmogs. Spirit Visage picked up for Sybil. He's not doing as much damage this time around. You got Claire. Monstrous has got himself completed 3 items as well as a 6-stack Dark Steel Blasting Ward, but it is being mirrored on the side of Frey because he is just accruing a massive CS lead. And we talk about it all the time, but the ability to build crit on an 80 carry, even if you are 2,000 gold behind, is just so valuable. And Blinky will be able to have that. Still, I feel like Raid is playing a very
the root's going to land.
Going to be huge. Frey all of a sudden has to burn the flash. One more time, just not respecting what this pick can do.
And we've seen 2 Swain games in the OPL so far, and both of them, the opposing team has been caught off time and time again by the Never Move, getting ripped back into the team. Makes the likes of Legacy decoy with the Braum. The CC is just so easy to land. So Claire gets himself a free flash there from Frey. And
Jake is going the greedy way right now. There are 3 people there. Does he face check? No, he does not.
Well, only was thinking about it.
Certainly was.
He's significantly tankier than Jake, but will not actually go into.
Did you used to watch that kids show, What's in the Box?
Everyone did.
Yeah, that is what's in the box right there. However, they pull back Jake. He's going to have to use ultimate out. Oh, actually, they got a kill there. How did Sybil die?
Sybil had the flash as well, but finds himself CC'd in the
melee
front line.
Hitting the turret.
Sejuani ulti did hit him in the face.
I mean, but...
So he's stunned up and he goes down, and he is very close to the turret. That's a low turret as well. That's a bit of a bait there. Finds himself stuck underneath that one.
Let your carries hit the turret.
Here we go. We're going to see it again. The rip does get onto Jake. He dashes the Blinky. Sej ulti actually goes wide, so it is the Xayah route, and then Braum ulti.
Yeah.
So he just goes down. The CC layering...
if the call is not get under the turret, you need to not be that close to the turret if you're Sybil, unfortunately, as Raid is going to look to defend his red buff with Mimic. That's a good job from Mimic, having the map awareness to be able to come over. A little 1%ers that we talk about a lot.
Gets his 80 carry little red buff there. So, feels nice. Of course, had the about a 2,000 gold lead over Blinky, does Raid so far. Got himself the safe build again. Going for the QSS when you have Sejuani, when you have Ryze, especially the Rakan as well. The ability to QSS flash out of the engage is just so useful for the Ezreal.
And look at Pabu. He's starting to do damage. Yep. I mean, that was a vital
proc. He's got a Triforce.
But yeah, as you mentioned, got the Trinity Force.
So sitting on 2 items right now, you have to think as Never Move's going to land again. This is the point in time where Pabu has legitimate turret threat, and if Mimic plays it poorly, legitimate dive threat under the turret is...
yeah, you can see he's starting to get whittled away. Is relying on that Warmogs to be able to heal him back up.
Decoy has gone for the banner. So they could kind of throw that in the side lane to buy Mimic a little bit of respite, but against the Fiora, she just will eat that one up. Almost immediately.
Not going to do the most. However, you can see that even though Pabu is starting to whittle him down, Mimic, for now, can still at least stay under the turret. There becomes a point in this game where Pabu genuinely will just kill him. And it might be right now. Pabu goes in, has to dash away, however, was not feeling that one.
The big thing isn't Pabu's health, it's Pabu's mana.
Yeah.
Because at a certain point, he's not going to have the mana to keep posturing under the turret. He will have the life steal, but
Sejuani. Ult goes wide, uses the call of the rare, and all of a sudden he gets stunned up and missed underneath the turret. Raid is here, Sybil is coming as well, and the whole of the Legacy lineup is collapsing to defend their top laner. In goes Jake, trying to get a big knock-up. However, it's too little too late. You can see already the retreat has been sound. In comes the... Realm Warp out.
Unburrowed before he flashed. They could not get the knock-up to cancel. Tried to get onto AV.
I was going to be the nice guy. I was going to pretend it didn't happen.
I did.
And that, you know,
saw it live and in stereo. Legacy, after Mimic living for so long in the side lane, they bring over only. Sejuani ult misses, so they takes that extra time for the Fiora to get the kill. All of a sudden, no jungler on the map. Legacy looking at their second Baron of the game.
Yeah, this is potentially Baron. They have no tank, however, so Sybil is going very low, and we've already mentioned just how slow this damn thing dies. Frey on the back end is threatening.
The
rip forward onto Blinky. Will have to burn the flash, and into the Unstoppable Crow form they go. Is the bounce going to be enough? Claire one more time is just zoning, and Jake is a little bit too far forward. Teleport, not going to be channeled, and they will just back away.
And if AV had ultis, you saw the amount of damage that Frey can do on the back end of that. The spread to multiple members in the pit, that is Ryze's ideal scenario. But no Featherstorm, no quickness, no Realm Warp from Frey means they don't have the tools to step up and legitimately contest the Baron. And so time number 2, Legacy find themselves with a buff.
This a third Infernal. 19 seconds left on the Dragon. Do not know what it is going to be. You would have to expect no, because Blinky is top lane.
It's an air.
It's an air.
Is it the Infernal? Oh, it's the other end of the spectrum, unfortunately. But they got themselves a nice little Locket of the Ornn Solari.
Yeah. Claire's about to show himself top lane. He is the most fed member still, 6-1 and 2. He's got himself 5 completed items. However, Frey has matched him. I don't know how.
He's up 40 CS. He's ahead of the clock, 20 CS now. Yep. Has been ahead of the clock the entire game for the most part. Pabu keeping up relatively nicely as well. Same as Raid and Blinky.
And if they don't bring Bannon in here, Frey instantly clears that wave. That's one thing that Ryze is exceptional at. is clearing out minion waves.
And I feel like when we talk about Legacy and we talk about the execution of Baron, that's where the faults lie. But for the most part, once they get the Baron, I feel like earlier in the season, they were a pretty bad team at actually setting up the play afterwards. And it took them 1 to 2 tries to set up their side waves properly. But right now, you see the growth out of them right now. Claire pushing in the mid lane. Top side is pushing in as well.
However, Jake
so
is behind you. You can see Claire right now is trying to respond to Pabu in the mid lane. They will get 1 inhibitor, but that is the minimum you can lose. Anything from here really is what Legacy will be graded on.
And we talked about outplay potential of the Zyra Khan. This composition from AV, doesn't matter how much gold they fall behind, they can potentially win a team fight.
Yep.
Especially when you're sieging the base, when this Baron buff coming out. Claire is so incredibly big, but Jake, we've seen time and time again landing these engages. They can lay a Sejuani over the top. If Pabu can proc that ultimate, heal up the team, there's always the chance that AV can win a team fight, but it is just so hard right now. Rip
back from Claire one more time. Jake going to also get eyed. Will dash away from that one. Top lane turret under fire and will fall down. No, neither of the carries are there. I will eventually regain control of the English language. Claire walking up. That's an aggressive move. Doesn't get stunned, however, snared, however.
And Jake is the one you need to keep your eyes on right now, posturing at the bottom hand side of the screen.
They throw in the ulti from Sejuani, and they will just use it as a zoning tool. Everyone is slowed up. If the wall goes down, do they look for the play?
And a very nice split out of Legacy. Both carries not standing on top of each other. Mimic actually CC.
And in they go onto Claire, trying to blow up the big threat. He says, bring it on, boys. I'm going forward. We'll go into Zhonya's, and Blinky is dead. Pabu on the back line is looking for something, but he will join his AD carry in the death chamber. And now Legacy marching forward. Frey takes a boatload of damage and will have to heal. Super Creep's already going to be streaming onto the Nexus turret. Where is the Banner of Command about to come off cooldown? This is a 5v3 and they must go now. Wow. Very nice CC onto Claire, but Frey is just hitting the front line and he doesn't have enough damage. In goes Raid, in goes Claire, only falls down. Frey is still trying to do it. Jake is trying to assist with the CC, but they're onto the Nexus and right now it looks like Legacy will go up 2-1.
And there we go, game number 3. Finally the draft is different and Legacy take a game in a much more commanding fashion than we've seen the other two. AV, they won, but it was slow and messy. Legacy's first win, slow and messy. Game number 3, Claire on the Swain, unlocked from that rise. Absolutely popping off.
And you have to say that the difference that game was both teams tried to play an early game. We didn't see this stalemate of, you know, wait until 20 minutes. And this time, Legacy's early game was much more impressive. The flash on burrow into the mid lane, like immediate follow-up from Claire. Sybil and Claire looked on the same page. This is what we said about Sybil. If he plays early game junglers, he looks so good. I don't understand why he isn't doing it more often.
Do you want to see a 4th Rek'Sai game?
No, I want to see him play Elise. I mean, I'm just thinking, like, if you're going to play that early game, if you're going to play for the turret dives, if you're going to play for, you know, the CC kind of style junglers, why are you playing Rek'Sai? Just play Elise. Play
Skarner, things like that.
Yeah, play
Because I feel like if you were to critique Legacy in that game, Sybil is absolutely the one that gets the criticism, right? He's played his 3rd game at Rek'Sai right now, finished that game. Claire was, what, like 8-1 or something like that? He's 1-5 on the Rek'Sai, getting caught out time and time again. Game number 2 happened as well. I think the bot lane is also a good point of contention for Legacy. I feel like game number 3, game number 2 as well, they have played very well down there. Withstood the Zyra Khan. Blinky and Jake, they did have priority, they did have control, but normally what we see when you see Chiefs pick up Zyra Khan, they get a kill at level 6 immediately. Suddenly the game is broken open.
Yeah,
AV,
level 2 flashes, 6 kill, like turret gone.
Yeah, like Exhaust Ignite level 1, things like that. We've seen Rosie kind of rise that one to popularity, but Blinky and Jake weren't able to apply the same sort of pressure. And Legacy could withstand.
And the other thing I don't want to see going into game number 4 is a split-pushing top laner. That did not work. You put that one in the bin and you just think this is going to come down to team fighting. And unfortunately, I cannot do it on Fiora. If you want to pick a split pusher that can team fight, take Camille. Camille 100% kills Ezreal in that last team
There just needs to be more respect from the AV lineup. And I feel like the messiness of these games, when you look at going into game number 3, doesn't suit itself towards a Fiora. Because you need to play very disciplined to be able to play that hard split push style. And AV were just getting caught on the other side of the map whenever Pabu had priority.
Yeah, and with that catch, they are now 1 game away from finishing 5th place again. So to break down that game a little bit further, let's throw it over to the analyst hangout.
Thank you very much, guys. And on the same note, Legacy are 1 game away from facing Order tomorrow. But talking about this game, I want to start with the Swain. He was banned in game 1. Game 2, he went through untouched. Game 3, he didn't get picked up until the 2nd ban phase. But hear me out. In the top 5 regions of the world, Swain has a 91% presence, which means he's picked or banned in 91% of the games. He also has a 77% win rate, which is pretty big, if I say so myself.
Seems balanced.
You'd have to think he's going to get banned in the next game.
I did a tweet, and I said, if you play Swain, don't talk to me ever again. Ever. Don't even look in my direction if you play Swain. You play Swain, it's literally a free win. The champ has too much damage, has CC, it's safe. Like, the champ does everything you need it to do and more. And, like, I was fed up. I probably got blasted by Swain in solo queue, and I said, just don't talk to me. So now I'm not actually going to talk to Claire anymore.
I'm not going to talk to Claire
Bad
anymore.
luck. He played Swain.
The one thing I've learned from watching that game is that I should go home and learn Swain, and my elo will just rise through the roof.
If you play Swain and you're not rank 1, don't talk to me as well.
Well, we're seeing Legacy make improvements from both their gameplay, but also in their draft. And Jubes, you were praising Decoy on Braum in this one particular team fight that happened in the top lane.
Look, I'm not going to say praise, but I'll say that Legacy as a whole played this well. So he's warding, as he should do, but this time Legacy made the adaptation and they ward together. This was the one time they had the right person face check. They had enough follow-up to, I guess, follow up the warding of Decoy. And this is what happens when you ward together and you're on the same page as your team. And, yeah, Swain, by the way. Swain, by the way.
He's here.
Yeah, nice. Balance. There's the balance coming through right there. There we go. And then they got Baron from this, and they snowballed their lead. But my point is that in all the 2 games before that, Legacy had the wrong members warding the jungle one by one. This was the one time where they were like, okay, Braum seems like a good pick here. If we're going to be face-checking jungle, let's let Braum face-check. He can put the wall up. He can stall for long enough so that we can follow up. And I think that was a really good adaptation from A, Soul Strikes, B, the team as a whole to actually execute it. But one, if we're going to talk about adaptations, I want to see is get Rek'Sai out here, please, man. That champion is useless. Honestly, they could win that game with Teemo jungle. That's how well Legacy are playing, but also how irrelevant Rek'Sai is. I don't understand the pick, and I'm trying to understand it. I'm just trying to think what's it offering that another champion can't offer, and I just don't see it right now.
Well, it's pretty easy to also give a lot of praise to Claire on that Swain, but another person...
Yes, praise to the broken champ.
Praise to Swain. Yeah. But another person I want to talk about is Raid, because there's been a lot of questions on him throughout this split, but he's been stepping up this series.
Yeah, so I'm very hard on myself and players, right? And I would say I was pretty harsh on Raid during the split. I don't think he was performing very well. But one thing I will say is this Gauntlet, this is his first Gauntlet, I believe.
Yeah, it is.
And he's stepped up big time. Like he may not be doing the flashy things. I think he had a really, really, really good last game. But this game, I don't think he stood out. And it's like, oh, look at him. He's like deft. But he did his job. They survived the Xayah Rakan lane. They came out ahead in CS. And he was just pumping out damage in every single team fight. And that's all he needed to do. So Raid's not making mistakes. And he's doing damage. And that is the attack damage carry role. Don't make mistakes, do damage in team fights, and you'll win the game. So I just want to highlight that I think Raid's playing exceptionally well this series, and I'd like to see him keep that up for the next game. And in saying that, I'd like to see the reverse come from the AV bot lane, and I'd love to see them just get back to their game 1 form, where they were just pulling the trigger and making things happen around the map.
Well, that was a much quicker game than game 2.
Yeah.
Do you think from this momentum we're going to get a 3-1 to Legacy?
Look, I think AV, most of the AV members have been in this position before, so it'd be rough for me to say that yes. I definitely think they can pull it back still because again they've been in this situation. But one thing I will say is that when you're 2-1 up in a best of 5, there is no pressure on you. I know for a fact, when you go out to play that last game, there's no pressure. You're just I got a game to fall back on pretty much. And, you just go out there, play with no fear. And, yeah, I think it's going to be an uphill battle for AV, definitely.
Let's just imagine that Legacy win the next match.
Yep.
If you're Order, are you scared about going up against Legacy, considering that they beat them, very recently?
If I know certain Order members, I think I do, then they're definitely not worried because they think they're the best team and they know they're the best team. And I'm looking at FBI for that one. He's just going to be like, come on, bro. I'm the best AD carry.
Is that what happened last year?
Yeah. No, that didn't happen last year, actually. But this year, different team, different attitude, I reckon. Nah, Yeah, that's a banger tweet. I'm tweeting that one when I'm done here. That's a banger tweet.
Before we get into the next game, though, we've had another message come through with from someone about their ideal MVP and a play they'd like to see them make. This one comes from Alexander, who says Frey's going to gank hard and get every lane so fed he can sit back, relax, and watch it all unfold. Do you think we're going to see that next game?
Well, to be honest, with the champions he's been playing, like the Corki, I don't think that it's possible. The Rise one, it was definitely possible, but I think they made a mistake in leaving something open. But I'm not going to say what that is because I've already said it. Like, there's counterplay to the champ, don't get me wrong, but yeah, like, I think Frey is better off just doing what he's done the last few games, just getting 6 items and pumping out damage. I think that suits AV, that suits him, and like the analyst desk was saying, I mean the desk was saying, the team that doesn't do anything is usually winning, right?
Yeah.
It sounds stupid to say, but like the team that's just reacting and following up on like a bad play or a play that's being made usually end up winning. So I reckon AV just go back and think like, boys, just relax. Let's not make any mistakes. Let's just scale. Let's just sit in our lanes and we'll let them give the game to us.
Well, thank you for sending in your question, Alexander. Bailey's disappeared again, which means he's gotten front row seats to the next game. It means we're going to head off to a break, but when we get back, we're going to have game number 4 between Legacy and Avant.
Sybil very quickly, and Sybil will go down so low. Will use the ultimate, will come back out. And however, on the back end, Claire is just so damn tanky. And you can see without an ignite is not dying either. Explodes and picks up another kill. And Claire, Frey just face checks him and gets a huge shield, but still going to fall down. You can see the damage out of Swain right now. Flash in is just monstrous. Quickness goes in, able to get onto all of the members. 1 kill already. Claire is in. The Zhonya's Hourglass will get taken down. Shutdown is there. Sybil also should join him in the Death Chamber. And that is an overcommit from Legacy. And Avant make them pay. And in they go on to Claire, trying to blow up the big threat. He says, bring it on, boys. I'm going forward. We'll go into Zhonya's and Blinky is dead. Pablo on the back line is looking for something, but he will join his AD carry in the Death Chamber. And now Legacy marching forward. In goes Raid. In goes Claire. Only falls down. Frey is still trying to do it. Jake is trying to assist with a CC, but they're onto the Nexus, and right now it looks like Legacy will go up 2-1.
We are, all of us, born into a lie. That there are those who are good and those who are evil. But these words mean nothing. In truth, the only measure of a soul is the strength of their will.
Welcome to the Swain Champion Spotlight. Swain's passive, Ravenous Flock, has 2 components. First, enemy champions leave behind soul fragments when they die. Shadowy Ravens scavenge nearby soul fragments, healing Swain. He can also store a bunch of soul fragments, and we'll go over what that means a little bit later. Now let's talk about Ravenous Flock's second effect. Right-clicking any nearby immobilized enemy champion damages them, drags them towards Swain, and rips out a soul fragment. The drag has a moderate cooldown, so you'll have to choose the best victim when following up on area of effect lockdowns. Swain's Q, Death's Hand, unleashes several bolts of Eldritch power in front of him, each damaging the first target struck. Multiple hits on the same target deal reduced damage beyond the first. Bolts pierce through targets they kill, restoring a portion of Swain's mana and hitting the next unit in their path. Take advantage of this in lane to shock your opponent through their low health minions or refresh your mana pool wave clearing. Swain's W, Vision of Empire, opens a demonic eye at a target location, damaging and slowing all enemies in the area after a moderate delay. Champions hit by Vision of Empire take extra damage, grant Swain a soul fragment, and are temporarily revealed. Vision of Empire's range is freaking massive. It gives tons of versatility as a zoning, reconnaissance, and follow-up tool. It's up to you as a master tactician to figure out the best way to use it. It's typically not wave clear. Swain's E, Nevermove, projects his demonic hand forward, then calls it back, damaging everything it touches. Nevermove passes through enemies on the way out, but explodes if it hits something as it's returning. Targets caught in the explosion are rooted in addition to damage. Never Move explodes if it hits any enemy on the way back, not just enemy champions. Keep an eye on what's behind your target, or you could end up rooting a minion or monster by mistake. Feels bad, Bird Dad. Watch for opportunities to follow up on Never Move with your other abilities. Pull your opponent in with Ravenous Flock's right click, then drop a 5-finger Death's Hand for tons of damage. Once you've got a grasp on Swain's kit, eyeball an opportunity to add Vision of Empire into the mix. Swain's ultimate, Demonic Ascension, invokes his full power, granting a big chunk of health on cast and draining life from the nearest enemies for an extended duration, prioritizing champions. When Demonic Ascension ends, either by running down the duration or by reactivating after draining enough health, Swain casts Demon Flare, the payoff for collecting all those soul fragments. Swain crushes every fragment in his possession to unleash a nova of demonic energy, damaging the closest enemies around him. The nova's damage increases for each fragment consumed. Demon Flare is Swain's make or break moment in teamfights. Flash bombing the opposing backline is a play for the highlight reels when Swain does quick maths. But if you don't know 2 + 2 is 4, miscalculations will leave him stranded in the middle of a very angry enemy team with no access to his survival tools. Let's sum it up with a late-game teamfight to strike fear into the foes of Noxus. Swain catches Ezreal and Braum with a well-aimed Never Move, then pulls Ez in with a Ravenous Flock. Ezreal tries to flash to safety but is winged by the far edge of Demon Flare. A few more pecks murder Braum, bringing the teamfight to a tidy conclusion. Thanks for watching the Swain Champion Spotlight. Click these links for more intel on the Noxian Grand General.